In today's episode of Project Sacrifice, we upgrade our EMC farm to Netherite, and yes, that is correct. I did make Netherite. We can now finally make some progress. I also added some wireless network to our refined storage system so we can access it pretty much anywhere in our base. With that being said, let's get into today's episode. In the last episode, we built this beautiful looking refined radiance farm, and oh boy, do we have a lot of refined radiance, and I'm telling you, a lot. We have just about 100,000 refined radiance, and yes, this has been running for quite a while now. I have been very busy in between episodes, and I may have built a couple more boilers for our base, and I built exactly like 20 or 15 or something like that. There's 3 rows of 5 here, so that's 15 boilers for our create. So now we're generating about 2-ish million stress units. The plan for today's episode is to get the netherite block. Like I said at the end of last episode, I do need to get netherite. So to do that, it's going to be a long chain here. As you can see, we've got a lot of work to do, but before I do that, I want to get one more thing for our refined storage system. You may be asking yourself, what can he possibly need for his refined storage system? Well, let me tell you, I want to use wireless crafting terminals, so I don't have to constantly keep coming over here to go ahead and craft stuff. I can just do it wherever I'm standing. And to do that, all I gotta do is set up a wireless transmitter, which is hopefully gonna be relatively simple to make. It is beautiful. Now, I do wonder if this pack has the infinite range upgrade for the refined storage. It does, but however, it does need netherite. Ooh, that's kind of expensive. But you know what? We're gonna work on that. So I guess we can't do that quite yet, but we can get range upgrades. Now, the range upgrades aren't as good, right? Because it's gonna only be like 48 blocks in all directions, but I don't think that's going to be too much of a problem for us right now. So let's go ahead and top those in there. Actually, yeah, I need one more of those, please. And then I'm going to need a wireless crafting grid, which hopefully isn't too expensive. So the wireless crafting grid is this guy here. We want this guy. And it looks like we're going to need some sort of crafting grid. Now, do I have that in here? I think I do. I do. Beautiful. Go ahead and toss that in there and boom. Now we have a wireless crafting grid. Now we are going to need a way to power this thing, and I'm not really sure what we have for wireless power. Do we have flux networks? We do, but I don't know how expensive this is. Ooh, yeah, this is quite expensive, needing proto lava and nitro crystals from power. We're not quite there yet, unfortunately, so it does look like we're just gonna need to use some sort of energizer to charge it, and I think thermal has one of those, I believe. Where is it? Now we could use the charger from power as well, but I don't know how expensive the player charger is, and it also depends on what tier you want to get as well. I believe the thing that I'm looking for is the Tinkerer's Workstation. I believe so. I'm not entirely sure, actually. I thought it was called the Energized Infuser, but I don't see that in the thermal tab, so we're just gonna plop this down like right here, I guess, and give it a shot here. And let's see, if I put this in here, that should charge it. Beautiful. The way that we link it is we link it to the controller, and now we should have wireless access to our stuff in our base as long as we stay within that 48 block range, which it doesn't look like it reaches all the way over here, unfortunately. Wow, actually, yeah, I kind of figured as much. Wow, how far can I go? Just about here. We can expand that radius actually if we want to. So the way that we expand it is all we gotta really do is grab this guy really quickly and put it in our EMC table, and we just gotta run a cable over there and then put a second one of these down, and then we can do that the same way that direction if we need to. All we gotta do is place a second transmitter down on the cable like so, and then add our upgrades, and now we should be able to access our stuff from all the way over here. Wow, 48 blocks is not that far. So the first step to getting the netherite is going to be a block of hepatizin, right? So if we look at the quest line here, it's going to tell us that we need ancient debris, and ancient debris needs molten obsidian and a block of hepatizin, which I think we can easily make now. That's totally a thing. You know what? We can actually just make one, right? So hear me out. We can make one, and then we can just dupe it with our refined radiance. We have so much refined radiance that I don't even think it really matters at this point, right? Because we have so much of it that it's just like, it doesn't really matter, right? If I waste a little bit of it. Wow, This is really slow. I do want to watch a flowing time really bad, but that's kind of a extreme crafting recipe and it doesn't look that cheap, honestly. Yeah, we're just gonna wait for this obsidian to cook. I made that silly mistake again. I did it again. Oh my god, I'm so silly. Dude, when I was making it the first time, I kept making it in the smeltery, forgetting it doesn't alloy. Whoops. It's supposed to be made in the induction smelter. That is despair. Let me grab a couple of these, and then our induction smelter is right here, so we toss those in there. And oh my god, that's quite fast actually. There we go, we get 2. So the way that the refined radiance works is you're gonna put it in your crafting table like so, grab one, and then do as much duping as you want, which is, oh dude, it's so beautiful. Look at how easy it is, and it's super cheap to do this as well. So now that we've got a stack of that, we can just make a block like so. And I need to melt down obsidian, which luckily for me, guess what I just did? I melted down obsidian in the smeltery. So I think I can grab a bucket here, I assume, and I can pour it into here, maybe. Yeah, that actually does work. So now that we have the molten obsidian, we take that and we shove it into our fluid encapsulator like so, and throw that in there like so. And that's definitely going to need a upgrade. So upgrade boy like so, and do one of those. And that's one ancient debris. So that's a start. So that's done. We now need to make this guy, which is not going to be cheap. So amethyst bronze, we're going to need the tau oil, demon crystals, which are not that hard to get actually. So we're going to need some demon will like so. And we're going to need, I forget, how do I do this again? I think I got to put it in the arc thing with this guy. Yeah, I do. So let me do that. Take this out. Is that not working? Okay, it is working. Perfect. Now that we've got the demon will crystal, that's simple enough. So this guy needs the tau oil, which needs tau fruit and bone meal. Ooh, do we have tau fruit? Yeah, we have quite a bit of it. Cool. So 3 tau fruit and a bone meal over in the other table here. Doesn't look like I have a lot of bone meal, but we do got plenty. There we go. Take that and shove it into this table here. Is that correct? I believe so. And then we need one of our orbs. So what am I doing? I can just literally come over here and grab this from our system. Okay, so which one is our biggest one? I think it's the master is our biggest one here. And we're gonna take that, throw that in there. That should make what we need next, which is the tau oil. So the tau oil and then a block of any sort here. It looks like any ingot will work, and that's fine. Let's grab that. And the other thing we're gonna need is this guy here. Take this out, and ooh, wait, do we have enough will in our crystal for this? Actually, a good question. It needs minimum 1,200. Eesh, that's kind of expensive. That means I am gonna have to upgrade our common tartaric gem to the big boy. Okay, so that means I need another dynamic slate. Okay, fair enough. Many hours later, this mob farm was too slow, so I built another one just so I can go ahead and basically farm up a bunch of this demon will, so that way we can go ahead and upgrade our dang crystal. I'm hoping this works, because if it doesn't work, we're kind of in trouble. And it works. Oh, you're so beautiful, game. Now we have the greater tartaric gem, which, oh god, I've got to fill it again. Oh no. But that's gonna allow us to hopefully now make the thing that we've been trying to make this whole time, which is this reinforced resonator, which is gonna need another one of those demon will crystals, which means I'm gonna have to hopefully pull one out of my system if we have any extras. Yep, we got plenty of extras. Good. Take that, throw that in there, make another demon will crystal, and the tau fruit is now done. And then all we gotta do is collect some ingots. It doesn't look like it matters, so I'm just probably gonna use like amethyst bronze or something that I have a lot of. That's not like too bad to make. And the demon will crystal we have, and the amethyst shards we should already have. Beautiful. And yeah, we're basically just waiting for me to fill this crystal up with the tartaric gem filled up. Well, let's go ahead and put this in here now, and that should now hopefully make the thing that we're trying to make. Oh, I am silly. I need to put the tau fruit in there. So let me get the tau fruit oil out like so, and put it in here, and that's gonna go ahead and make that. And hopefully that's not gonna take too much will. It's gonna take 500, it looks like. Boom, perfect. Now this guy doesn't have an EMC value, unfortunately, but that's fine. So now that we've got that, I believe we got to swap these out, right? So this is now done. Let's take a look at the quest book and see where we got to go from here. Okay, so we need ancient debris fragments. So ancient debris fragments, it's 3 to 1. The fragments, we need explosive powder. Explosive powder is going to be coal dust and gunpowder inside of a thing. So I assume, let me put all these away. We don't need these right now. So we're going to need some coal powder, which means we got to take this and we got to shove it into here and get that. Wait, that's not how we get that. How do we get coal powder? Is that what it's called? Coal dust. I can only get it through that. I found another recipe that we can use here. We can use the coal plus flint in the other guy here, the table that we're going to use it in. So if we grab some coal, so it's going to be an extra coal, but that's okay. It's going to require a flint as well. And we take that and we shove it in this table like so and so. And it should, in theory, make what we're looking for, which is a sand coal paper. And then we're going to need some gunpowder. So gunpowder times 2. And let's go ahead and put that in there like so and so and so. And then that should make the explosive powder. It has 64 uses, which is interesting. And then that, I think, needs to go into this guy, right? Yeah. So we need how many of these? It's a 50% chance, to get extra corrupted stuff. And then how much is this? So I need advanced cutting fluid. So 1 makes 1, and then 1 makes 1 scrap. I only need 4 scrap. I need 4 scrap. So I need 4 of these. So I need another one of ancient debris. That's fine. And I'm gonna need another explosive powder. So that's fine. We can get that. That's not too bad. Oh wait, no, this has 64 uses. So no, we only need 1 of those. I do need to make another one of those ancient debris though. With our debris required here. Now I want to take a quick detour really quickly because I found something that we are going to need to make, which is the advanced cutting fluid, which requires a bunch of stuff here. So we need sulfur, salt and peter, and it looks like uncraftable potion and or a water sigil. I guess the water sigil is probably the way that we're meant to get that, not an uncraftable potion. But yeah, sulfur, salt and peter, which is going to be plant oil, and plant oil is going to be anything. Okay, that's actually relatively simple. Now, do I have beets? I don't think I have beetroot. I wonder if I can use anything else other than beetroot to actually make the plant oil. So plant oil, I'm not seeing it in the JEIs. There it is. Plant oil. It can be made with other stuff like potatoes and or carrots. So that's actually really good. We don't have potatoes. Do we have carrots? I thought we did have carrots. Yeah, we do have carrots. We have plenty enough carrots to go around. Beautiful. So let's go ahead and teach that to the system, I guess. And then that's going to be 3 carrots and a bone meal. Actually, it's going to be 6 carrots actually total because we're going to need 2 of those bad boys. So let's grab that and let's grab bone meal, which I didn't EMC. That's fine. I think 3 is going to be more than enough here. And what we're going to go ahead and do is take this, do this and this. Actually, no, wait, do this, this and this, and then divide these up like that. It's 3. Okay, so it's got to be like that essentially. Okay, cool. So that's going to give us 2 of the plant oils. Lovely jubbly. The plant oil is not my thing that I'm worried about actually. Oh my god, what is... Okay, so let's take a second here. We need the intermediate cutting fluid, and then we need the basic one. Okay, so the basic one is coal sand, sugar, plant oil. Oh, we're gonna need more than 1 plant oil, aren't we? Oh boy. Actually, we're gonna need just 2, it looks like. So redstone, gunpowder, and I need to make this water sigil, which needs a blank slate. That's fine. The water reagent, however, is gonna be 2 buckets of water and sugar. So buckets of water and 2 sugar, which we have. Beautiful. And what was the reagent that we needed for that? So water and then 2 sugar. There was a reagent that we needed for that, which was not anything. Am I confused here? Is it 2 buckets of water? It's 2 buckets of water, not 2 sugar. I'm smart. So water goes in like so. And now that we've got the water reagent, I need to use the arcane ash, which I don't even think I have anymore. Oh boy, do I have it? I do have it. Beautiful. So I believe the way that this works is I do that and I need a blank rune. So let me quickly get myself a blank rune. That should be relatively simple. So if I do this, there's your blank rune. one. Do I put the water reagent in first? I actually don't know. I think I do. And then we do this. Yeah, beautiful. So that's gonna make the water sigil. Oh wait, I'm gonna need multiple of these, aren't I? Yeah, because I need it for that one, and then I need it for this one. That's actually a really good point. Unless if this doesn't get used, I don't think it's gonna get used. That's my theory, but I could be wrong about that. So yeah, it looks like it didn't use the buckets, which is nice. So the basic cutting fluid is gonna be the coal sand, the water sigil, the redstone and gunpowder, and then I believe I need another sugar. So redstone and gunpowder, like so, and then a sugar. Now I could use another method here for this, right? So if I do this and then I do this, we bookmark this recipe like so, it should do that. So we need plant oil as well. So one singular plant oil that should make the basic cutting fluid, which we now have, and then we need the intermediate one, which is going to require sulfur. Now the good question is, how the hell one gets sulfur? Because I haven't seen sulfur, and I was indeed correct. You don't use the water sigil, which is so good. But how does one get the sulfur? Because we're gonna need that. So sulfur is earth charges, and sulfur not ideal. That's a really good question. How does one get their hands on sulfur? Aha, I found it. You need sulfur essence, which needs saltpeter essence. Saltpeter needs redstone and stone. Okay, that's actually relatively easy then. So redstone, let's grab a few of these. Let's do 12 of each essence. So if I grab the stone essence, which I've got like literally thousands of, which I can just easily make now. So there we go. Let's grab 12 of those. I believe in the bio lab, and we do this. We take this and this like so, and then that should make us the saltpeter essence. Now we're making quite a bit of it because I also need to make it into saltpeter. That way we can go ahead and mix it as well to make the sulfur that we need. So sulfur is going to require me to mix it with dirt, which is going to give me the sulfur that I need. So let's do 12 of that as well, and toss that in there and that in there, and that's going to give us that. We are going to need saltpeter. So saltpeter like so, and then this should give me the sulfur as well once I do something like this, and boom. So we now have the sulfur. So the sulfur plus glowstone and sugar, which is going to be relatively simple. So glowstone and sugar like so, and then of course the basic cutting fluid. So saltpeter, no, sorry, sulfur for this one, glowstone, gunpowder, which I didn't grab. That's fine. Let me grab that really fast. And I'm also probably going to grab an extra sugar as well, because we're probably going to need it for the next tier. And that should now make the advanced one, or intermediate, sorry. We don't need the plant oil, but for the advanced one, we are going to need a recipe of both salt and peter, the greater tartaric gem, and glowberries. Glowberries, I don't know how we're going to get glowberries. Sweet berries plus glowstone, and sweet berries can be made by washing cow fruit. Okay, that's relatively simple to make. So let me grab myself some cow fruit, and we're gonna go ahead and wash that bad boy like so. Then we're gonna mix that with glowstone, and then that should give us the thing that we need. As soon as this is done washing, beautiful. Sweet berries do have EMC. I am gonna EMC them just in case if they come up later, and I'll do the same for the glowberries again, just in case if they do come up later. Now I am a bit worried that I'm gonna need a empty tartaric gem here. That should be fine. So intermediate plus the glowberry plus both salt and peter and the sulfur, and the last thing that we need to do is grab our greater tartaric gem and throw it in here and pray to God that this doesn't eat it, because if it eats it, we're in trouble, like big trouble, because then I'm gonna have to go like craft a whole another one, and it's gonna be a pain in the backside. It does eat it. Oh yeah, that's not ideal. Okay, so let's go ahead and take our basically explosive guy and put it into here. We're gonna put this in here. Where is this guy? We're gonna do that, and that's gonna hopefully make our thing. Now I can't upgrade this. I wonder if there is upgrades if I like put like blood or something in here. Not really sure, but that's gonna give us 3 of these, and then that is gonna get put into this guy again with the crystal resonator, which we already have. Let's take that and then put the crystal resonator back in in here like so, and that's gonna go ahead and take some damage. And then this, I believe, is then going to turn into 6 of these, which then I use the advanced cutting fluid to cut that into scrap sandpaper, which then we smelt to get 1 to 1, and we only need 4, by the way. So 4 of those will get us enough scrap to make 1 ingot, and then that 1 ingot will then get turned into, like, you know, a bajillion ingots. So I'm wondering if refined radiance can duplicate scrap. I should have checked that. I only needed 1. I could have just duped it with refined radiance. That's fair enough. Then we take this, put into advanced cutting fluid. So this guy and this guy should make what we need. The corrupted dust. What does corrupted dust do? It turns into corrupted dust. Well, no kidding. Oh, that's interesting. It's also another way of duping stuff. Oh, okay. That's interesting. There we go. We now have that, which I believe if I just take that and throw that into this furnace, we should get what we're needing here, which is the 1 scrap. Oh God, I'm so upset that I wasted so much stuff, but it's okay, I guess. Let's go ahead and take this out just in case if I, you know, don't accidentally like waste it or anything. Actually, you know what? We can repair this with the repairs talisman. So if we do need to do that, we can do that at some point. And then we take 4 scrap and we make it into a netherite ingot by converting it with some gold ingots like so. So there's our netherite, and then that netherite can then get duped with refined radiance. I am now duping netherite with a refined radiance. You know, actually what's really crazy about this is I can probably get away with, if I built another refined radiance farm, I could just get away with duping netherite. We dupe netherite over and over and over again, and then we get like infinite EMC, right? But the reason why I wanted to do that is because I'm going to upgrade our EMC farm. Things are going to get really crazy really fast. So if I take this and I teach this to our system like so, and what we're going to go ahead and do is I'm going to quickly make a pattern for netherite. So netherite ingots can be made with netherite essence like so. Essence we can, you know, get with the system that we have behind me, and then we just take the netherite and make it into blocks like so. That's literally the same system as we have over here with the gold, except now it's netherite, which is a lot more efficient at doing its job. So I'm now going to tell you to export. Instead of exporting gold, you're going to go ahead and export the netherite like so. And I'm going to go ahead and tell you that we're no longer doing this with the gold, and we're going to basically do this with netherite blocks, which is 500,000 EMC each, which is a insane amount of EMC. Now that we've got netherite, we can actually make the infinity booster, which honestly I'm quite terrified to put in because it probably requires like a lot, and I mean a lot of power. I don't even know if we can even handle that, right? So if I grab some range upgrades, what else do I need for this? Range upgrades, and then I also need Eyes of Ender and Nether Stars. Do I even have extra Nether Stars that I can just like lend? I do. And then now that we've got that, we can go ahead and put all this in here, and we should now be able to make the infinity boosters like so. And right now our system is using 249 RF a tick. If I take this and put this in here, what is the power? Oh, we're out of power. It is 4,000 RF a tick. Oh boy, that's a lot of power. How am I gonna deal with that? These only generate, oh my god, these aren't even upgraded. What am I doing? Unfortunately though, I don't think 160 RF a tick is gonna be enough, so we're definitely gonna need to scale up our power for sure. And I think we're gonna do that next episode, or maybe not next episode, a later date, once we get into power, which is gonna be our next big sort of task to kind of do, is to get to the power mod. It is time to wrap up today's episode because we are out of time for today's episode. So with that being said, if you guys did enjoy today's episode of Project Sacrifice, please do me a huge favor, smash the like button, smash the subscribe button, ding dong that notification bell, become a part of the Council of Elder. As always guys, I love you. I'm gonna leave you until next time, where we're gonna be getting into power.